The Forever Winter has released into early access with a great atmosphere, amazing sound design, and a concept that is like nothing else out there. But, in its current state, it's very rough around the edges and has a few major issues that need to be fixed as soon as possible. After playing the first 20 hours of the game, the best way to describe the Forever Winter is fun, but flawed. Let me explain why. If you've never heard of the Forever Winter before, I'll give you a very brief overview. You're a scavenger, scurrying around the battlefield, collecting loot from dead enemies as a massive war rages on all around you. Tanks, mechs, and heavily armored soldiers ripping each other apart as you try not to become the target and sneak your way to the extract. After surviving, you can customize your weapons and rigs in the hideout known as the Innards and complete various quests while unlocking better gear and weapons. The Forever Winter is a super fun game, and I love the aspect of taking on the role of the little guy trying to survive as these massive war machines fight each other. The Forever Winter is a unique experience, and it has huge potential to be truly outstanding. Unfortunately, right now in its current state, there's quite a few problems holding it back. The three major problems I see hurting the game are the hunter-killers, enemy spawns and pathing, and the water system. The hunter-killers are a specific enemy type that spawns into the game when a certain criteria is met. They are heavily armored with lots of firepower, and they know your exact location, and you can't hide from them in any way. They relentlessly hunt you down like the Terminator, and the only thing you can do is run as fast as you can to the extract. Now, you can stand your ground and fight them, but more will just keep spawning in, and eventually you'll run out of ammo and meds and end up as another corpse on the ground. It's a cool mechanic that changes the gameplay from always sneaking around to you need to fight them off and run to the extract in order to survive. I like the mechanic, but the problem I have with it is how often the hunter-killers spawn into the raid, and the fact that they know exactly where you are. I'm not 100% sure what the specific criteria is for making them spawn. When I was playing solo, it was more uncommon for me to trigger them, but playing as a duo, they would spawn almost every single raid. One trigger we found out was that you could only carry one barrel of water between the two of us. As soon as either of us picked up a second barrel of water, they were instantly triggered. We also had them show up when we were just looting dead soldiers. Maybe because we picked up too much loot, but if that's true, that's a stupid reason to spawn, as the point of the game is to collect loot to survive, and we haven't even unlocked the huge rigs yet that hold 10 times more stuff. Another time was when we had collected the pitcher item for a mission. Also stupid, as why would the hunter-killers care if we had a picture of a guy's dead wife? The most ridiculous time was at the very start of the raid when I had nothing looted yet and Ben's first piece of loot that he had found was one pack of 545 ammo and the hunter-killers spawned in. Like I said, I don't mind the mechanic because it changes up the gameplay, but the main point of the game is to sneak around, avoid fights, picking the right moments to loot before slipping away, and as a last resort, get into a firefight to ensure your survival. Running through the map at full tilt every single raid because the hunter-killers keep spawning takes the fun out of it. Also the fact that they know your exact position on the map and can shoot you from 100 miles away, leaving you the only option of running till you extract and are out of the raid. How do we fix the problem? The hunter-killers need more of a purpose. The current triggers need to be changed drastically, and they shouldn't know your location. If you're being too much of a threat by killing lots of soldiers or heavy units, it would make sense to have them deployed after you so that you can't keep killing off their forces. There should also be very specific, high-value items that cause them to spawn, such as a super rare piece of tech that the faction wants, and if you take it, they will hunt you down for it. That way, you get to decide if the reward is worth the risk. Another trigger could be if your rig is absolutely squeezed to the brim with lots of high-value loot. Then they have a chance to spawn, say 15%, and then they come after you as you're taking too many resources that they want. When they do spawn in, they should be aggressively searching for you and not know your exact position. That way, you can still hide and avoid them, though it'll be a lot harder as they're vigorously trying to find you. The hunter-killers should be dangerous, but be more of a rare occurrence that happens once in a while to change up the gameplay, and should not spawn in every mission because you and a bud each pick up one barrel of water. The next big issue is how enemy spawns work. There have been moments almost every raid that enemies will spawn in directly on top of us and will get cut to pieces. Playing smart and careful should be rewarding, but none of that matters when a group of enemies spawn on top of you or just in front of you with no chance of evading them. Also, having full squads of soldiers or a huge mech spawn directly in front of the extraction point and not move anywhere is a really cheap way of forcing players into combat. It really takes away from the experience, thinking you finally have a clear path to the extract, and as soon as you move towards it, then boom, a mech spawns in and you're blown to bits without warning. Simple fix for this is they can't spawn within a certain radius of the player or directly on top of an extract. The enemy pathing also needs to be expanded on. Watching a squad of soldiers walk up and down the same set of stairs on the same bunker is too small of an area to be patrolling when there's a vast map to try and control. This problem is even more obvious when you're on the Ash versions of the maps. The cyborgs walking back and forth on the top of a bunker or on a small section of no man's land, making it impossible to get by without shooting them. I love the look, feel, and silence of the Ash maps, but the concentration of cyborgs seems too high. You can't sneak by them because of how many there are, and you can't shoot them because there's so many hiding in the Ash out of sight that you'll get overrun very quickly. I'm not sure what the developers envisioned for this version of the map. Maybe you're supposed to have a silencer to take the enemies out, but we tried that and it didn't seem to make a difference. The map style is really cool, but when we get that version, we just go straight to the extract and leave to get the other version of the map. My biggest problem with the water system is that it forces you to come back and play the game. I want to play the game because I want to play it, not because I have to play it. Losing all your gear and your stash because you haven't played in a while is a ridiculous mechanic. That being said, it's not hard to get water, and keeping the water levels up is easy. My innards is at almost max water before upgrades, and each barrel gives you 24 hours real time before your stash gets wiped. With the water set up the way it is, players won't have trouble keeping their water levels up, but I still don't like that the game forces you to keep coming back, or lose all your gear. The other problem with the water system is that once you build it up, it's completely useless. Water is supposed to be the lifeblood of this universe that you're constantly trying to get to survive. Once your tanks are full, there's no use for it. There's no difference from having 20 water or 99 water. How do we fix these problems? Water should only go down when you're playing the game, and not in real time. Have an accelerated day in the game so it ticks down at a faster rate and becomes a resource that you actually have to manage. Water also needs to be used for more things besides unlocking upgrades and new vendors. You could use it as a cooling system for crafting, so players have to make a choice of crafting items for missions or running the risk of running out of water. Water consumption rates can also change based on how much you've unlocked and how many people are gathering in the innards. Only a few vendors and no upgrades, water rates are low. Lots of vendors and tons of upgrades with lots of people, water rates go way up. This would give more life to the water system and make it actually matter while playing the game. I still like the idea of losing everything if your water level hits 0. It adds an ongoing threat to the world, mechs and soldiers on the battlefield, water level in the innards. It makes it so you're not safe anywhere you go, and fits with the lore that you're just a scavenger doing everything you can to survive. In my opinion, these are the major issues holding the game back right now. I can look past the other issues that the game currently has, such as the co-op not always working, the enemies' glitchy and janky movement, the player and enemies getting stuck on invisible walls and objects, the quests respawning on the quest list after they've been done 20 times, the lack of ambient battle sounds on the maps, bomber planes not making any sounds as they fly overhead, the weapon handling, overall player movement, and the AI spotting system all need to be fixed and tweaked. I would say every aspect of the game is a bit rough and needs more work, but the hunter-killers, enemy spawns and pathing, and the water system should be top priority. With all the negatives I've listed, I still enjoy playing the game. It's still a ton of fun. I played solo and as a duo, and the butt-clenching moments of running between the trench lines, dodging bullets is an experience that's hard to beat. The game looks amazing. The dark, gritty atmosphere is incredible. The sound and music is great. The idea of being stuck in a war, but you're not on either side, is such an awesome direction for a game to go. There is so much potential for this game to be a huge hit, but it's going to take some time to get there. I'm happy to have purchased the early access and support the devs and share my thoughts and opinions as the game develops. I can't wait to see how the Forever Winter will progress in the future. Now, if I had one thing to say to the developers, it would be this: don't give up. Don't get discouraged. The Forever Winter really has a ton of potential, and I want them to keep working on it to make it the best game possible. Even with all the fixes I've suggested, I still really enjoy playing the game and experiencing the world of the Forever Winter. And I'll still keep playing it, even if nothing changes.
Oh, hi there, sir. I'm sorry. I didn't realize Marshall had pissed you off and then just kept running.
I said they were all very angry.